Good morning, traders. It's time to wrap up the week, and I am here a tiny bit early. I know that sometimes I get like 1 or 2 minutes late. So, guess what? I'm here early today, guys. Early and ready to go. Ready to get trading and get ready because a jobs report is about to hit and it can change the markets. So, if you're not aware for it, be careful out there, guys. This is going to be turning the markets here. And I think that we need to be very, very close eye. Right now, I'm taking a couple of trades in my new limited account, as of course, I kind of bagged the other one, right? So we'll see what happens right now. Sorry about that. Getting a little music action here. Just give me 1 second here. Make sure my sound is off. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. Now we're looking good. All right, let's get to the action. Let's take a look at the stocks. Let's see what we're trading right now. And you guys can take a look here. I'm already taking some trades this morning in the new limited account. Was taking a trade in TOVX this morning. Was able to make 142 on some of the shares. Eventually getting out near break even. It kind of dropped on me pretty fast. I want to keep an eye out on that TOVX. We'll see if it makes a move a little bit later in the day. But right now, I'm watching this COCH that made an insane move this morning out 8 a.m. It went all the way up to $9. That's why I'm trading it here, guys. I got it on the dip. Really good order there towards 279. The low right now, 265. If it comes back to my entry, though, I want to get out of here. We got to be careful for the jobs number coming in just 1 minute here. So TOVX, I'm just going to give you the outline. I did take this one from about $2 up there towards the 230s, selling some at 233s, was looking for the 260s, 270s. It never came. We'll see if it comes during the open. Let's get to the SPY. Let's get ready for the market. Let's see what we're looking at here. And of course, what are the expected numbers that could come in? So pay attention, guys, because right now we're about to get the numbers coming in here. Friday's economic is looking at, of course, we'll be revealing the payrolls expanded by a mere 100,000 in October. So that's the lowest job creation since December 2020. So downgraded expectations are largely due, of course, because of the impacts of Helene and Milton, the hurricanes, and of course, the Boeing strike. Another thing that we'll be looking at is unemployment, expected to hold steady at 4.1 here. So we'll see what happens when it hits the tape, but pay attention here, guys. The market is already going wide. You can see it's going wide by the spread that's going on. If I put the SPY on here, you'll be able to see that. Right now, I'm just watching this COCH on the bottom just because I have a trade on that. But I do have an alert there to protect myself. Here's the first action in the SPY. The SPY's first action is a wick to the downside. So be careful there, guys. Now we'll look to see what happens. Will we get an up move or not? Numbers are coming in. Unemployment coming in right on the hammer here at 4.1. The non-farm payroll came in at 12,000 versus 106,000. That is not looking good there, guys. Crazy number there, guys. So non-farm payrolls for October, 12,000 versus 106,000, 223,000 prior. This could be negative news for the market. This could be a spike in the VXX. And you saw the first reaction on the VXX, a spike to 5690s. I'll tell you guys, at least from the first thing that I look at this looks negative for the market. Now we'll have to wait to see what happens. And waiting is important here because we're getting wicks on both sides. When wicks are on both sides, that means tricks are being set up here. Be careful. We'll see if we actually get a directional move. Apple's the biggest watch for me today as it's down, down, down here in the pre-market. Down, 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 not being talked about by the media. If you turn on CNBC right now, are they talking about Apple's report? No, that is a sign of concern for me in the market because normally they talk about Apple nonstop. They're talking about Amazon, but Apple's not even being mentioned. That could be, for me, at least the mentality. Are fund managers trying to get out? Who knows? We'll have to pay attention to the market today. All right, first action on the SPY. You guys can see it was down and then right back up. So if I take a look at the numbers, it's not the best, right? Non-farm payrolls expected at 90,000. We got a negative 28,000. Wow. We'll see what happens. Now the SPY going up on this news. Not what I expect, but we'll see. I mean, really, this is going to be a little bit of a shake here. We'll see what happens. Definitely far less than expected. Only added 12,000 jobs. That's a negative for the market, right? But I don't know. We'll have to wait how the market reacts. If you just go on logic, yeah, that's what that would mean here. But logic is not how stocks trade, team. They don't trade on logic. So be careful out there, guys. That's a big miss, but we'll see what happens. What's up out there, guys? How we doing? It's good to see you guys. And do me the favor, smash the like. We got a lot to talk about here. I'm in this COCH. We'll see if it actually makes a move or not above the 320s here. But the market's starting to rise. So I'm going to go to the main account and go trading, guys. Let's go to the main account and get ready to trade here. All right, SPY actually heading on the upside. So I'm watching to see if Apple really starts to take off here. Apple would be the one that I'd like to play on the way upside if we're going to have an upside move today. So I think it's going to be tough. I think right now in the pre-market, you could see some action and then start to see the takedown towards the open. So I'm going to be watching to maybe trade Apple on the upside here. If I can get a 222 pullback right now, it doesn't seem bad at all here. I might even jump up here right now and try to see it if I can grab it before it starts to take off. I'm just trying to make a cushion trade, nothing massive here, as I don't know which direction the market is going, but it's moving. And moving means I can make money. Just need to be watching to see how I can play this, right? And you guys can see right now, I'm actually locked up on this, actually on Apple. So I can't trade Apple right now, but I can go to the Qs, right? I can always trade the Qs. I can trade SOXL. Those are names that I can be looking at right now. It just popped off a 31. So that's kind of the level that I can watch for here. Can it hold that level and start to climb back? I think we watch for this because there's a trend line resistance right there at the 30.78, pretty much the 30.80s, right? And then the move down is towards 29.28s. So as long as we can hold like kind of 30.60s right now, this is looking good in SOXL. We'll see if it comes back down towards that 30.60. That's that takedown on the downside here. It's trying to hold 31 and start to the upside here. I'm looking at the tape. The tape doesn't really show that we should get an up move, but that doesn't matter, right? It's not about what is supposed to happen. It's what is happening. That's important in trading, team. Important to remember that because a lot of traders get that twisted. All right, and I'm looking here at the private non-farm payrolls for October prior revised to 223 to 192. So showing more and more how we're getting more kind of decline there in the jobs. That's a negative for the market. That's why I think we still get 50 basis points on the next FOMC meeting. And that's what I was talking about today on Beginner Trading's channel. And I was out there just kind of hanging out there in the chat. Like always, guys, I'm in many chats and many different communities. And the reason why is that at the end of the day, I'm a trader like you guys. And I'm going to keep kind of learning from others, just like you guys learned from me, right? That's what it's all about. We're going to be learning here and getting after it, trying to make improvements. SPY holding on right now. Will it make the up move? It could make the up move and kind of shake everybody before the open. So that's what I'm watching for right now on SOXL. It looks good here. Let's see if it starts to take off here towards like 31.40s. I could see about 30, 50 cents here on the first push. So I'm going to look to try to make a little bit on this. Let's see if I can get it. All right, guys, just got long there, guys. Long there, SOXL, long, and you guys see it on the bottom. I'm always going to tell you guys how it is. Long there, 31.12s in the red, about 1 or 2 cents here. Really want to hold off the 9 EMA. It can pull back to that 9, but right now, 31 is the risk. So about 12 cents. I'm looking for a push up towards the 31.50s here on a quick little spike. And then going to probably sell it above that, right? That's what I'll be looking for here. Let's see if we can get the push here towards the 32s. All right, starting to get a little push here. We'll look to see if we do get a takedown candle, but for right now, not looking too bad. Starting to climb back here. Even though the number was negative, I'm not trying to trade off of the number. I'm trying to trade off of the action that I'm seeing right now. All right, let's see if we can make a nice little 300 here. That's a move to like 31.70. It could get to 32, which is a nice like, 455. on the morning, but I'm just trying to make a little cushion here and also stay tight on the wrist side. So having the wrist side really set there is going to be important. I'm going to also have kind of max profit there out there at the 32s, just in case we start to really kind of rip up there. And I'm ready to get out if we pull back towards the 31. So that's going to be my out, really, like 30.97 down towards that 31, really looking for the 90 MA to hold. It can come back towards like 31.04s, but it should kind of hold in that level. Looking for expansion on the SPY and the Qs is what I need to be seeing. So a quick move to the upside is what I want to see. If I start to see that takedown, be careful out there, guys, because it could be very quick, and quick in the pre-market is dangerous. Here's the pullback already happening, guys. So the first action was up. Let's see if it starts to do a little bit of a takedown for us. If we look at the 15-minute chart, we really wouldn't want to see, like, let's say 571s break on the SPY. 571s break on the SPY, and that starts to really kind of give you that leak look. So we'll see what happens here. Do we even get that attempt? You're getting the 90 MA attempt right now. Got to go focus on stock sell here, guys. Got to get ready to get out if needed, right? I could take like a 50 hit, a $100 hit, nothing more than that. That should be about 20 cents there. So definitely towards 30.92s, I'd get out for sure. Got to be careful here. Let's see if it recovers 9 and hits the top Bollinger and really takes off. All right, getting that pullback here, and I'm looking around. I'm seeing Tesla make an up attempt here. Seeing the SPY. The stock that I'm really watching to is Apple. Apple's making a down attempt here, which I'm keep telling you guys, that is looking scary to me. Apple down here is not a good outlook here. So be careful here, guys. Definitely getting the decline, about to get out there. There you go. It starts to get into the 90s. I'm trying to get out here. All right, I'm out, guys. I'm not going to push it. I'm going to definitely get out there, take the $100 hit, and be careful for the real takedown that could happen here. I'm okay with losing $100. I'm not okay with losing 300 in the morning. So that's perfectly fine. I'm still up 1,200 for the week. And that's the important thing to remember today. And I think it's an important thing for traders to remember overall. Where a lot of traders get things wrong is that they focus so much on today. Today, I need to make money. No, I'm watching the week and the month. That's going to be my 100% focus, because if I did that right and I just focus on that, I'm going to be able to continue pushing my account forward. If I keep focusing on day-to-day action, that's easily how you start getting torn up. Like yesterday, I felt like I was just off. And what did I do? I ended the day just slightly green. And that's what I want to do kind of on days where I just feel like I don't have it, right? Break even, slightly green or slightly red is really good when you're not feeling in the zone. When we're feeling in the zone, that's when we want to push it. That's when we want to try to make 1,000, 2,000. At least for me, that's what I'll be going for, right? Because that's how I go ahead and expand my wins, right? So if I look at it, I don't need to be stressing too much about the little hits. The little hits, I can take, 5, 6 of the little hits. What I really need to be focusing on is trying to get that nice bigger win, right? That's what's been pushing me forward. That's what it's going to continue there. And you guys can see that could have been a little bit of a wick out there at that 92 takedown, and it could very much be there. Now we're already recovering. And my thing is, though, is I saw Apple on the takedown. That was a little too scary for me to then go long, right? So the SPY is still trying to make a little bit of an up move, and the Qs are trying to hold. But look at Apple down to 221, and so that's not what I wanted to see there. If I would have saw Apple, let's say, holding towards 223, yeah, I feel like it's going to rise the tide and come back. And you guys can see the takedown here in Apple. It just did not look good on that first action there. So I definitely wanted to not get run over. So I got out, right? 20 cents is what I said I would risk. That's exactly what I did there. And sometimes you need to give yourself a pat on the back just to get out, right? Out, SoFi dip, a lot of stocks dip there. So be careful here. We're going to need to see what's going on with something like this and seeing how we can play this out. All right, let's go to the penny name and the new kind of limited account, guys, that I want to talk to you guys. And I'm getting a question in the chat, so let's go talking about it. COCH. I still have this, guys. I have this from 279, and you guys see it right on the screen. what's going on out there, guys. So let's see in the chat here. How are you finding shares like COCH? What alerts do you have, and where do you have set them up? Happy for you to share. Well, the way that I found this, El Saint, is using right here on the platform. This is very important. Moments like this, I get questions all the time. How'd you find this stock? Well, right here on the platform, look right here. Just 2 boxes over. What do you see there? You see the high and the lows, right? You see the gainers and losers list. I just put it right here by the volume of 500, price under that 2. And then I start looking at these names to see which one's making a move. TOVX, guess who traded TOVX this morning? Your boy Money Mitch, right? And you can see it on the left-hand side here that I was able to make a nice profit on that off 142 and was looking for more. I was looking for this to go to 250. So this is still in play today. I'll be watching for it to see if it can get a spike here right now. And then COCH right there, the second stock that's leading to the upside there. And I think that that's the important thing. Another thing is having scanners and ability, right? So I have this scanner here that I use from Benzinga Pro. And if you don't use Benzinga Pro, well, definitely check it out. We have it as one of our sponsored partnerships, right? And you guys see that all the time. I talk about them all the time. So I use here a scanner that's scanning for change in 5%. So of course it's a pre-market scanner looking for stocks that are moving, but then I start looking at the change in the last 5% or 5 minutes. The percentage change in the last 5 minutes is so important. I'm looking for something to spike 7, 10%, and also be up more than 20% in the pre-market. Those 2 things are what I'm looking for. Is Benzinga Pro free? No, the actual, of course, is going to cost you. But if you have one of our packages, one of our bigger ones, you get access for this for a month to try it out, check it out, see what you think about it. And then, of course, if you want to continue using them, by all means, use them. Another one that you can be using is trade ideas. And I'm going to tell you this because I talk about this all the time. I say that you need tools as traders to be the best traders. The best traders also have really good tools that help them. It's like being, let's say, a carpenter and having a really good saw, right? A really good kind of, let's say, laser level, right? Versus using the old school levels, right? Things like this, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you need the best tools. So I'm not talking about having a 70-inch computer screen. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually having services that can help you find the moving stocks and find them fast. And so what I do there is I find the stock moving, but I don't just immediately get in. I take a look at the pattern and I use my day trading abilities and skills that I've used over the years to determine entries. Like on this COCH, it was a hard entry. I'm not going to lie. This was coming down fast. I saw it. By the time I saw it, it was already down there towards like 394. And I was like, well, let's see if it does a full round trip. And then I'm able to try to get it on the pullback. Right here on this wick is when I went to go get in it on this 265. And I'll show you it right there on the platform so that you can see the order actually go in there. I don't lie to you guys. I keep it 100 here, 100 at 279. I said, well, if I go into this stock, how much do I want to risk? Maybe $20, $30, $40. But at this point, it started to hold $3. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to risk a single cent here. And I'm going to see if it goes because I got such a good entry on that wick. It was right there at $3 on the bid and offer. And I was like, just go back. Just go below 3. Just go below 3. If I see that below 3, I can take that shot. I had a 280 order ready to go. As soon as it dropped towards the 280s, it dropped into the 270s. As soon as I saw 270s, I said, I'll take the shot here. Of course, that still opened me up to maybe like $70 in risk if it just washed out to 2, but I had to take the shot and see what happened there. All right, let's see what else is out there. Let's keep pushing. Let's see what else we can do today, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. We got a lot to talk about. We'll get into some earnings reports. We'll take a look into some of the different plays that I'm watching. It's going to be a great day, and you guys know where you're at. It's right here. It's Trade the Pool. Don't go anywhere, team. And do us a favor, guys. We need to get some more traders in here. So the number one way that you guys can help us grow is hit that share button. Let everybody know this is where you want to be. the money and run right now. It's up like 12 bucks. It's been up like 20, 30 bucks. But really, I'm looking for the breakout back above 3, quick move to 4. Then it could go all the way back to 6. I mean, this thing was an absolute monster when it made the move. Now, of course, I could take off this alert, but this alert is actually a way to put an order in the pre-market that's a stop, essentially. So what I did was I put in an order that it activates at 278 and actually places an order for me. This is one of our alert systems. It's one of our ways to go ahead and get into trades with the computer essentially taking the trade for you. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm just using this as a way to protect myself, especially on a name like this, where I can't keep my eye on it because I'm watching other names in the market and could miss this play. All right, but I'm going to put this on the side now. Let's go back to the main action in the market. If you guys see it moving, you guys can let me know. The SPY's hanging on here. Let's go back to the action here and see what's going on in SOXL. I'm sure we went a little higher. No, we actually held the 31s. We're not going anywhere right now. Let's see if we get a takedown here right before the bell. It's going to be a tough day, tough open, that's for sure. SMCI continuing down. I've talked about how that one, I didn't want to be anywhere near that thing, and it keeps coming down. I'm not touching that thing with a 10-foot pole, but definitely be careful out there, guys. It's going to be a wild day indeed. VIX now starting to get the spike again. So, of course, this thing actually closed yesterday, or the VXX at least. That's the one that I've been trading lately. If you look at the hourly, this thing closed up there towards 58, and it's made a couple of attempts up there. Now could start to close some of the gap that it did. It gapped at like 55 to 54. So I'm wondering, do we get a bullish day? Do we get a bearish day? Really, right now, there's no way of knowing. And I think that if we looked at the numbers, that would mean bearish, but we're getting a positive reaction. That's always interesting. It could just mean that we're getting a positive reaction for the pre-market. And then right at the open, they wash it to us. So be careful out there, traders. It's one of those days where I can tell you guys, I'm going to be on the sideline at least out the gates here because it just doesn't make sense to me, the action. When things don't make sense, you take things slower, not faster. So we'll see what happens this morning and what we can come up with. Let's keep pushing, guys. Let's keep pushing. Let's see what we can find today. All right, looking around, trying to go ahead and make some money here. See what we got today. SPY now starting to drop there, and that tells me more and more what I've talked about, how this could now be a spike in the wrong direction here. Apple, though, trying to recover. That's the one stock I'll have on my radar today, especially on the hourly. Can it hold hourly lows? If it breaks into 220s, watch out. Katie barred the door. We're going down, down, down. Apple could be breaking a long-term trend line today, and it looks ugly because it was just looking pretty. And when things look pretty, a lot of the times they twist it on us. Look at Microsoft, right? It was all the way up there. Gap down, right back down below that. Are we going to fill the gap on the upside, or are we going to 400? Things to think about, right? And of course, Google, that had a good report, starting to fill that, right? 170 will be very important to hold today if it can get to it. If not, you start to break that trend, and it looks ugly. Apple, of course, down big. Let's talk about earnings. That's what everyone was looking at after the after hours. Let's talk a little bit about it. First up, let's talk Apple, right? They did beat on the street, but net incomes declined, and Apple posted strong fiscal Q4 results here. Earnings per share were at $1.64, above the $1.60 estimate. Revenue at $94.93. However, a one-time $10.2 billion tax charge in Europe cut net income to $14.73 billion, leading the shares to drop 2% in the post-market. CEO Tim Cook highlighted a positive response to the news on the new iOS 18.1, noted early success with Apple Intelligence and Apple's new AI system. iPhone revenue hit 46.22 billion, up 6% year over year. So the iPhone concern really wasn't there, yet the stock took the hit off this one kind of tax cut. No, that's not why I took the hit. I think it's more about the China revenue struggling here. So China's revenue dipped 15% 6.3 amid, of course, local competition. And this, I think, is more what's hitting Apple. If they can't do good in China, they'll do decent here in the US, but it starts to take away from their top line, right? Their top number, right? And we're starting to see this. I think when you're starting to look into their numbers, you're seeing it more and more that even when they're making their service revenues rising, their iPhone revenue rising, they're still not being able to meet that far out expectation because, of course, China not doing well and other places where they've tried to sell the iPhones just not taking off like the way it should. Let's move over now to Amazon. Let's talk a little bit about Amazon and how their report is doing. And Apple trying to hold on there, but quickly right back down. So SOX is going to start to look interesting for me. We'll see what happens here. This is why I'm not doing the playbook right now, because to tell you the truth, guys, everything on the playbook can change when you get economic data. And this is the important thing of traders overall. Because if we're coming in, let's say, very bullish and we get a bearish number, what does this do to us? Or maybe it's just extreme greed and things turn around. The market loves to play where it can hurt the most. Yesterday, it seemed like the most was very on the positive side. It was the bulls. The greed was out there. And guess what happened? The fear came into the market yesterday and boom, whacked a lot of people. Well, today, what is it going to do? Where can it hurt the most? Is the most now betting to the downside? Or are we just betting that things will reverse right back up? We'll have to wait and find out. This is why it's so important to watch the action versus guess the action. But you got to know the situations. That's what's important also. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look out there. What's going on? How we doing? All great information. Hey, that's what it's all about, man. Gems. Is that a stock we could take a look at? Good morning. How we doing? Derek Thompson in the house. What's going on? All right. Looks like we got some new fam in the house. What's going on? How we doing? Hey, Mitch, I watch you and Ryan show at the same time each morning. I think your daily analysis has a slight hedge. Keep it up. Hey, that's what I try to do, man. At the end of the day, I try to give you guys the insight of what I'm seeing. Of course, you guys call your own shots. Understand that. Use some of my knowledge to look into it. Take a think into the psychology of the market. Where can it hurt the most today is very important for day traders. Swing traders a little different. Investing is different. But day traders, so important to get that right. Now, the swing trading lifestyle, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. And one of the things that I'll give you guys insight before we talk a little bit more about swing trading during the show is taking a look at monthly candles. Because monthly candles can really help investors and position traders have the best entry. Why? Because you're giving yourself a good usual risk to return. Usually maybe buying off of a monthly support and looking for it to go to the monthly resistance, not even the breakout. And that's already good risk to return. So today you'll be looking around to see what monthly candles look good, right? That's what I'd be watching. Like, let's say Tesla. Tesla's one of those that the monthly candle doesn't look bad. And it could take that 260, 270 and keep going. I'm just calling it out there. I'm not saying that Tesla's the one for me, but just calling it out on the monthly candles and how important it is to catch those. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to Amazon as they had their report. And this morning, it is climbing back. This is what's holding up the market. If you're wondering what's holding us up and why we're not just falling, well, it's Amazon here. Amazon's Q3 shines, driven by cloud and advertising. Amazon exceeded expectations in Q3, reporting earnings of $1.43 per share of revenues of $158.88 billion. AWS grew 19%, while ad revenue expanded by 19% also. So positioning Amazon as a growing competitor in the digital advertising space, which of course was kind of a more recent new thing that Amazon got into. And how are they doing this? Of course, AI. CapEx surged to support AI, with Amazon planning $75 billion in investment for 2024. What does this show you? That, yeah, AI, what you wanted to hear was further investments and that it was affecting the bottom line here. In Amazon, it is affecting it. And it seems like they're helping them out, right? And why? Because it's going to help you do what? Better recommendations, better presentation of products, right? advertising, giving them better advertising, all things that are helping Amazon right now get through this. And of course, we're getting towards the holiday. That's what's going to be interesting here. Amazon could keep climbing back. All right, let's keep it going. We'll see what else is out there. Looking around, let's get some money out there today. Let's see what we can come up with. Of course, Amazon now starting to pull back. So if Amazon pulls back, I'd look for Apple to break the low, right? And so that's what I'll be watching for out the gates, especially here with the SPY coming back and forth. And like I mentioned, the SPY could make a little bit of an up move based on that and kind of trick some buyers there. And I was looking for the move. You guys can see it. And now we're starting to climb back. So we pulled back below the 3090s. Now we're starting to climb to that 31. We could push right into the open and then just drop like a tank. I mean, this is going to be a hard one, guys. I'll tell you one thing. Be careful out there today. It's going to be very wicked. All right, let's go take a look at Intel and their report because they jumped. They jumped on that report. They got all the way up there towards 25 and then pulled back. So we'll see if we can get back up there as Intel beats earnings as restructuring efforts gain traction. Intel shares soared 7% up to that level despite a 6% revenue drop. Restructuring efforts and the introduction of the Xenon 6 server processor shows Intel's determination to reclaim its competitive edge in AI and data center markets. Fourth quarter revenues ranged between 13.3 to 14.3 billion has been set. It's giving itself a lift here, but is this really a change of trend? I don't think so, guys. So I'll keep a watch on this. I'll look at the monthly. The monthlies are what I think people are taking bets on. They can use this kind of $20 spot and say, is Intel going out of business or will it just be right back to $60, right? And things like that. There's some things to think about. For me, I don't know, man. Intel's tried so many things lately to get itself back into being sexy, and it just can't do it. So I don't know if I trust them here. All right, let's talk a little bit about some oil stocks. And oil stocks are moving, of course. This morning, we did get two of the biggest names to report there. ExxonMobil, Chevron, both of them reporting here. Let's talk a little bit about it as Chevron delivered strong Q3 returns despite a profit dip. So Chevron beat on expectations here. Not looking too bad. CVX getting a lift there towards 154, 153.89, the top right now in the pre-market. Profit, though, fell 31% year over year as Chevron's strategy to streamline operation and divestments in Canada, Congo, and Alaska aims to save them $2 to $3 billion in 2024 to 2026. So, of course, they're trying to get out of places where it has a lot of political issues and things like that with oil, and they're trying to focus on their profitability. We'll see if they can turn things around and continue the upside. Of course, lately, oil has been getting hit. So, will this just be a flip and we start to get an up move in oil? So, of course, that's a bad news for the bulls out there. But the XLE is right off the support. Could start working its way back today. Of course, we know how oil loves to go back and forth. And now ExxonMobil with some good earnings, flipping back towards 120. We still have situations in the Middle East that could cause oil to spike. And now ExxonMobil is looking a little bit better. Morning, Coach. What's up? What's up, Steph? Did you go ahead and trade it? Let's take a look at it. You guys taking that trade in that chat? Let's go. Devin from the chat hung up on me. What's going on? John Grant, you're having some issues? I would just reach out to our customer service, John Grant. It looks like you're having an issue. I can't help you specifically, unfortunately, John, but you're more than welcome to hang out here, hang out in the chat. Like always, I'm here as a trader and trying to go into the trading action. But, of course, reach out to our customer service if you're having some issues, if something's going on, provide some screenshots. Let us know. We'll try to work with you, like always, John. All right, let's keep going. Steph, what are you taking a look at? What are you watching? I'll tell you what. Look at this. Let's see if we're still in it. Yeah, we're still in it. All right, let's take a look there. Coach, COCH. Will this one get the move today, guys? I'm in this one. Been in this one from 279. It's been hanging out. It's been trying to go above the threes. Still has yet to get the spike. And that's one thing that I'm just keeping a very close eye on. We'll see. Out the gates, I need to watch this one, of course, because we'll see what happens there. I still have the order to protect myself at break even. But if it comes down to that 280s, I pretty much want out, right? So here's another one moving right now, guys. I've been waiting to see if this one will make a move. So I'm ready to go ahead and trade it here. TOVX already making the move here. Got to be quick to try to get this one here. Let's see if I can get this one, guys. All right, guys, trying to get a little pullback on TOVX. I was trying to play this one in the morning, and it ended up cutting me out around the 204 spot. So trying to get back into this at 210 towards like 205 here. We'll see what happens. Now it's pulling back on me. Could come right back here. I'm just looking at it because it did spike on volume there. So I'm looking to see if this is going to get the spike before the market open. It's 9:02. We still got time to let this spike here. So I'm watching it. 220s in play. I could risk off of the 210s here. Maybe step up to the plate with 500. I'm thinking about it here. It is making a move. The good thing is I have a cushion, a 124 cushion this morning. So I'm trying to use that cushion to take some trades here. Let's see if I risk 50 bucks of that right now. I like this. I like this trade here. I'd like to see a small pullback to the 215 and then just take off here. If I look at the level twos, I'm watching to see how the buying is and what's going on here. I saw a lot of buying around the 217s. That's where buyers started to step up here. They're watching probably the same levels I'm watching. 220s coming into play here. Let's see what happens. I'm hesitating there a little bit, and you guys can see that. I'm watching it right now. I'm looking to see where the next level could go to. It's 250s and above here. Now we're at the 220 spot, so it's now or never. Let's go for it here. I took a shot there, guys. Just got an entry there on TOVX, guys. So 500 shares there, 220s. Want to hold off this 210s and look to see if it can just make a nice little break. $50 of risk here, of course, risking a little bit of the cash that I made in TOVX. So let's see if that can work out here. Really want to risk off this kind of 9 EMA. Want to see this take off, hold the VWAP really, and start to push towards the upside here. Let's see what happens. This is pretty much the risk down towards that 9 EMA, now going towards 212. So not too bad, right? 9 EMA is right there, can hold. Looking for the momentum to really push through the 220s, going towards the 250s here. Let's see if it wants to make that push and start to really get moving here. TOVX, COCH. We're not hiding out here, guys. This is a brand new limited account for me. First target on GSAT. That's another good one this morning. Can't access to trade TOVX. Why not? You're struggling on that one? We'll see what happens. GSAT, though. GSAT. Taking a look here. GSAT right now at the 140s. It was trading there. It doesn't look too bad on the 15-minute. I like the 9 EMA hold here. Needs to hold that, but could come back here towards 130. That's kind of the next layer of support. We'll see if it works its way back to 170. Trend line, of course, approach here. We'll see if it starts to make that move. GSAT, not looking too bad there. TOVX, got to go watch it here. It is pulling back a little bit here. Let's see if we can get the move now, as it did do a little pullback. Now I want to see it take off here. Got to be quick with these, right? I think they're more about trying to be quick with them, and especially in the pre-market, you're just looking for that quick reaction higher. All right, we'll see if we can get that move to go higher here. I'm ready to get out if needed towards the 210s, and I'm getting that pullback opportunity already. So got to be careful here, as it could pull back pretty fast here. And it could go back to the $2 spot, try to reload on $2. So that's the mentality here, to protect, right? So you guys see the order ready to sell out if needed. I also have orders in my main platform right here on the right-hand side, different screens, right? Always have different screens. It's very important. I have a limit order for a profit take, and that's closer towards 270s up there and really kind of rocking and rolling. So let's see if we can get up there. We were up to 240s, so I think 250s could get taken out here if we can really get moving. All right, we'll see if we start to really get moving here. Now we're starting to hold above the 9 EMA. This looks good. Now I want to see it get taken, right? Just make the move and run. Let's see what happens there. And if that runs, will Coach run too? Maybe they both run. They're both similar. They're biotechs. One's a medical device, but both in the healthcare space. All right, let's see what else is out there. Can't access it. I'm a little confused by that one, Steph. So I'd reach out to our customer service team, let them know, hey, what's going on there with this one. But hey, wish you the best of luck on TOVX. Maybe it can start to really rock and roll here. At least for me. Maybe it's not the one that you trade today. You know, don't let it affect your mental capital. All right, let's see. The market's still struggling there. Now I'm starting to get a push towards this 220s. Will it get the push here above the 220s? Let's see it here. It has the potential here. At this point, I'm like kind of go or no go, right? I want it to break out back towards the 9, and I can get out there. There's a nice push towards the 225s. Looking good on the first push here. Let's see how far it can really go here. All right, putting out my order there towards the 270s. That would be another like 200, 270s, 280s. Of course, like $200 is still a good trade on this. That's above the 250 spot. That's where I'm trying to keep to. Let's see what happens now. Can it just get moving? Don't want to even see the kind of the step 217 get broken now. So about 3 cents of risk here. Let's see if it really rock and rolls towards the 240 and just takes off here before the gates. Here's 230s going close toward 227s on the offer here. Let's see on the bids on the offer side if we run into any big order here. That's what I'm watching for. You can see I'm at 270 there. That's my order out, just hanging out there. All right, we'll see if this one really starts to push here. Yeah, trade the other ones. You know, one thing is try to put it into your order form and see if it just goes in. That's one thing that I would see, but you know, we'll have to wait and find out here. Let's see if this really wants to get going. It's close to making that break, but hasn't really taken off here. The volume is there for it, but now it really needs to just kind of push. So I'm watching the MACD to just see it keep extended. Don't come breaking back towards the yellow line here. 9 EMA needs to hold. So last push was right here at the 218. That's where your closes are. And that's what the 9 EMA is. That's where it can hold on pullbacks. Looking for it to keep pushing and taking the highs. All right, let's see if it really wants to get that next level here. One thing is for certain, I was watching this earlier on a 15-minute chart. So that's also important to look at. Resistance right around this 225. So let's see if we can get through this 225 and really make that next expansion. That's going to be important. That's where we're running into a little bit of resistance. The 225 spot. They need to take it towards the 230s to really get that next push. Out coach, guys. Out coach. It just pulled back on me there. Back towards the 279, 280 spot. It could bounce here and go right back up. But look what I just lost, guys. I just lost 275 and gave myself the potential reward of like $200, $300. I will do that anytime. That's good risk to return. Very important for me to focus on. You can't get them all, but you can set yourself up for success. Ready to get out towards 215 if needed here, guys. I don't even want to see it back at VWAP. I wanted to hold the 9 EMA and make the breakout attempt. Now we're back towards 222s and the 9 EMA held there, the 218s. So even below the 218s, it's a good sign for me to get out. All right, let's keep it going, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. We still got a couple more. We can talk about it, but the big earnings are done. So now it's going to be important to watch the market action and see what we can come up with. Let's get after it. Let's make some money today. The SPY coming right back down and kind of chopping around here. So it's going to be an interesting bell open here. It's 9-11. Let's see what happens, guys, in this TOVX. Really got to be careful here. Make sure I don't get cut out fast here. Here's 218 showing up there, about to get out. Hands on the trigger here. 216 show up there. I'm just going to get out. 216 showing up there on the bid. Is it on the offer? Hands on the trigger, ready to get out here. I'm going to put it down a couple pennies here just in case we get a quick wash here. You want to make sure that your limit gets hit. One of the ways you can do that is just to put it down a couple pennies here. looking to see if it's going to hold this 216 on the bid side. There it did, right? So I didn't want to see 216 on this side of things here. So 217. If it's 216 on this side, it'll probably be 215, if not 214 on the left-hand side. So looking for that to hold right now. It's like, so now I can just focus on a level, right? Versus focusing on what's happening. Just focusing on the 215 that's showing up on that left-hand side, or the 216 that's showing up on the right-hand side. Back towards 225 is the breakout for me. If it wants to get back up there, I think it could get that breakout. We'll see what happens here. If not, just got to get out while the getting's good. And of course, I still got green on this, right? 119 on the day. And I did make 143. So I've used some of the cash already. And I was up like another 120 on this and was looking for a bigger move. It just didn't happen. And so be it. I mean, that could have been making me, 300, 400, half the account close to it already. So going to keep pushing, guys. Of course, this is the Lude limited account that we have. And I'm going for another one, guys. I did lose the first one, and I'm going for another one. Just lost it yesterday. So ready to push after it, get after it. And I'm using a lot of these penny stocks for the limited account. That's what the limited account is going to be used for. And my main account is going to be more of that high quality play, your Soxel, your Teslas, those type of plays. Here's that push on TOVX. Now we're starting to really get that lift. I could add here and hold kind of break even if it really starts to push. But I'm looking for the push, and it's not coming immediately. So I'm just going to hold off on the share size that I have right now. All right, now we're going towards 224s. Now back towards my entry, 220s. I'm going to get out. So at this point, it's pretty much break even or I make my money. And that's the best situations I can get into. Now you see how the 90 EMA is going towards that 220. That's a good sign for me. Now we're getting closer towards where I'm in is the 90 EMA. And I look for 90 EMA to talk about momentum trades. And that's what penny stocks are. Or let's say small cap names or micro caps, whatever you want to call this, right? All right, 225 showing up here. I talked about how this is the level where we could get the breakout. And why is it? It's just a 15-minute level. It's a very important level to see if it wants to take that next push here. Now we're getting that pullback opportunity. Don't want to see it come even towards that 220s. Ready to get out here. Holding back here, guys. It's not taking off here, and that's another thing to a sign of concern. Here's 220s showing up there. I'm going to give it one tick. There's 219s. I'm about to get out here. Hands on the trigger. Hands on the trigger here. 915 here, guys. Got to be careful here, but don't want to get cut out here. Ready to get out. I got 218 order. You can see if I just hit the yes, if I let go of this, it closes the order. Just looking to see if we could recover the 220 spot here, the 90 EMA. This is a wick attempt to break it, but the body's staying there, right? So the body could go back to green above the 222s. Here's a test of 218. I'm out just like that. Saw it. I got out. Guess what? 220 out. Cost me 250 to give an opportunity to make another 200 or 250. Exactly what I want to do. Good. Pat on the back. If it goes now, so be it. I gave it a couple attempts to try to break out, right? 1, 2, 3 attempts. The rule of 3 says it can hold here the 217 and then make the breakout. But if it hits 217, it can also drop quickly to $2 right before the gates. That's what I want to avoid here and give the opportunity to get back in to TOVX later in the day. So important, guys. So you guys saw me battle there, try to get it, try to get it, try to get it. Eventually ticking time bomb hit and I got out. All right, let's go, guys. How much does the limited account cost? to start one, let's talk a little bit about that. I did it here, guys. So let's talk a little bit about that, right? Of course, I'm going to bring it on the screen here. You guys can check us out. Go to our website, Trade the Pool, right? You guys can check out the funded accounts here. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up here. Here you guys have a link right there in the chat. Hit that link, guys. You guys could also go to my link, right? I have also an affiliation link here. I don't use too often because I'm not so focused on it, right? But here you guys have it if you guys want to use a different link. Right here you guys have it. But yeah, take a look into the trading area. Of course, this is the new limited account, and you can see it right here. It's a really good difference, right? It only costs $97. Yes, that was right. Only $97 for the limited account. It gives you an ability to eventually get, if you get the funded account, a 70 to 30 split, right? Profit target only needs to be 1350 versus our original 1800, right? The 1800 was a lot harder than the 1350. You still got the same max loss too. So essentially we just made the profit target easier. And that's very important. That's something important to know. Also, look at the minimum positions. We changed it to 10, giving you ability to go for bigger trades. And this one has a 50% max profit on one trade. So you can make up to like 650 on a trade, right? That's going to be 1300. It's more like 675, but don't get too picky with that, right? I'd rather do the 650s and make sure that I stay within that range. But you can still do the same thing. It's the trading periods. It's the same amount, and it's the same kind of rules that you can get after, guys. I definitely check it out, guys. Our limited edition. And for right now, I've been told that it will stick around maybe for the end of the year, but you don't want to wait till then. You want to be trying to use these to try to get that funded account. Really, that's what I think, right? Because essentially, I have on my main account, the other account that you guys see me trading is this one, the extra buying power account. This one costs $475. It isn't as cheap, right? It definitely costs a good amount. Profit target is 7,800. Max loss though, 3,900. Daily pause is only 1,300. Of course, you guys see me on this account trying to make $1,000 trades, trying to get closer towards that profit target. You still got to make a minimum of 20 positions. That's not hard for me to do, but I'm going to keep pushing. And on that account, I'm up. I talked about it just earlier, and I just want to make sure I give you the exact amount. 1,247, even though I lost a little bit this morning on Soxel, 110. So it was at like 1,300, have been up to 1,700 this week. Want to keep pushing. It hasn't been a bad week at all. All right, we'll see what happens on that one, but definitely check out the limited. I wanted to show you the difference, right, between the extra buying power. It's the same split, and that's where I really think that this limited makes sense, because you're still getting the same split. You're not getting a 50-50 split, which I think is tough to deal with. I'll be as honest as I can be. But 70-30 is definitely a good split to get after. All right, guys, we'll see what happens there. And you can see it made it right back towards the 228s and just held there. And what did it do? Bounce off the 217. I talked about how the rule of three could hold there, but I didn't want to risk it there at the 217s. Now it's going to be more about what happens at the gates. All right, guys, it's 9:20. We got about 10 minutes left here. We need to be careful. We need to be watching what's going on in the markets here, and we need to see how the market reacts. If anything, you see in what? Weakness now. Weakness. VIX looks interesting for me, all ready to take a trade on. As I'm seeing the Qs come down here. I'm seeing the SPY come down here. I'm seeing Apple look like it wants to break the low. Now starting to wash. I think those are the ones I'm watching. Amazon was holding us up, and I'm going to look to see if Amazon gets weak out the gates. I don't expect the strength to be in Amazon, and that will be something that will be very telling. If Amazon just jumps towards, let's say, 201 out the gates, yeah, we could recover today. But if I see Amazon heading quickly towards 196 and 194, that means we're on at least a takedown attempt. It could still hold that support, but I'll be watching for Apple below that 220 and continuing on the downside. Let's get after it, team. Let's go. Let's go. Smash the like. What are you guys looking at out there? All right. What other ones being mentioned? Let's see what else is out there today. Looks like a lot of you guys joining in also on Twitter. So smash the like. Let's get some more traders in here. Hit that like button, guys. Support us as we support you guys every single day. Subscribe. All right, time to get after it today. Time to make that money. Ready to get going. Too bad coffee doesn't refill itself, guys. I'm looking at my coffee right now. I'm like, man, I wish I had another one ready to go. Let's go. Let's get after it today, guys. It's Friday. Seeing the Q's dropping fast here, guys. I might go to the main account here and go. Oh, I'm in it right now. Let's go to the VXX. The VXX looks interesting here as we are getting spikes and spike downs on the SPY. So a little part of me is thinking about taking a shot already on the VXX. You can see it's setting up here for a move. Now the question is, do I go after it right out the gates? That's the hardest trade to make here. Hardest trade to make is definitely a trade right out the gates. And you can see it on the 15-minute, how it's trying to hold the pullback where it came from, which was the support right around here. But I think we can make an attempt towards 56 first. So that's why I'm trying to hold on and not take it right now. But the market's trying to get me to go after it. That tells me more and more that we're getting towards that point where we could see that fake out and then the move. Q's pulling back there. Of course, that jobs report was not a good one. Rejected the 15-minute high over there towards a break back above the 487s. That's a good level on the Q's to keep an eye out for. Let me see if there's anything else being talked about out there on the news out there to see what they're talking. Yeah, treasury markets are moving back, it seems like it's being talked about. And so that tells us more and more that there could be some economic slowdown. Look at the TLT starting to head to the downside and the market kind of falling in on that. This could actually be a trade. You guys can trade the TLT, right? So just keep an eye on it. It's going to be looking like it's dropping pretty fast here from that 830. We did get a quick little spike, and now you're starting to see that drop off here. We'll see if it keeps dropping back towards the 92. Keep your eyes on the Qs. The Qs trying to bounce a little bit back towards the 487s. 488s back up there. Yeah, we're starting to climb back. If we reject off this hourly kind of resistance, that's where you got to be careful, right? You can see to the left, there's kind of this resistance to 488.40s, and then there's a closed body there towards like 487.67. The low is actually closer towards that 484 of yesterday. So we got room to go to the downside. We're actually closer to the upside than the downside. And that's what I'm watching for fake outs on the upside. Or will it just reject the news and say, forget your news, forget your economic data. We're going right back up. So everything's pointing towards a horrible action there based on the economic data. And a lot of times that's when they flip it to us, guys. So just be careful out there. We'll see what happens. All right, looking around out there. See what else is being talked about. China relaxes curbs for foreign strategic investments in firms. So more positive China news out there right now that I'm seeing. And look at Baba already starting to get the lift. I'm thinking about adding to this bad boy. I'm waiting and waiting, but by the time I come back on Monday, it could be the day. So today I'll be watching for any pullbacks below yesterday's low, going closer towards Thursday's lows to add on my swing trade. That's a swing trade mentality. And let's take a look at the monthly candle. Monthly candle is holding a monthly low of 95.52. We'll look for that to hold and start making its way towards the top end. 110 on the up end. I'll be watching for Baba. FXI is one way you can play the intraday action, or you can play it on yin, right? Maybe you can play JD today. JD looking interesting. We'll see what happens in some of the China names. Clean Spark had pulled back massively. If we do have a rally back today, a nice tech rally back, don't know what can happen. We never know what can happen. I'll be watching Clean Spark to rally back. Of course, Bitcoin took a hit also, so that will need to kind of start climbing back. But back through 11, it seems to make sense for me. You wash out some traders, maybe go to 1050s, and then come start to climb back through 11. It washed out all the bulls from the last 2 weeks. So let's see if some of those bulls now want to get back in after they got washed out yesterday. Google just crashed down on any news. Google just crashed down on any news. Sorry, Kevin, I probably read that wrong, but thoughts on Google? Long? Let's take a look. I'm watching Google to hold 170. I've talked about that level now for, it seems like ages. So that 170, I was looking at it as a buy above that, right? It did. It made a nice rip, right? Went on the earnings to 184 almost. Now it's pulling back. I need to see 170 hold. I think today you could get that 170 test at least. And so right now it looks like downside to me on Google. If it comes back, it's back through 174 in my eyes. But look, you're already 179, 170, 189 here and looking like you want to break. VXX already looking like it wants to get a little bit of a rise here. It's pulled back a little bit here. I'll tell you one thing. This is probably the play for me today. But I got to be careful because the VXX is a fast, wicked monster. Boeing mentioned in the chat. Really good mention, man. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to say your first name, and I don't want to mess that up. But I can tell you right now, you've been bringing in some amazing stocks. I appreciate it. Boeing is a good one to talk about today because it looks like the labor agreement is now pushing a little bit higher. They're offering a little bit more, and they're starting to play even hardball with the labor agreement. They're starting to say that, hey, if you don't agree to this deal that now got raised from, I think, 34 to like 38%, well, guess what? Well, we're going to start giving you worse deal offers. So they're pushing on it. And I even see the union pushing on their own members. And that's interesting to me. That means that they're really getting the push that, hey, if you don't take this deal, we're going to start playing hardball with you. Guess what? It doesn't matter. They're not in the position of strength. The position of strength is in with the laborers and the workers. Let's see if they take the deal today. It's going to be a give and take right now. I think this is a hard one to bet on because you don't know, and you got to watch the news. It could rally back with the news that the strike is done. So that's all things you got to be watching, and you got to really watch the tape to see that. All right, there's the pullback already there in the VXX, and it's already starting to come back here. So I think that I just got to keep watch on it. All right, looking around, traders ready to get after it here. Let's see what happens in Meta today also. I think Meta is a good opportunity for the downside action to continue. This one had been up at the top and now looks pretty heavy. It looks like it wants to break 560. So a good sign for continued downside would be a wipeout on Meta through 560s here. Let's go, guys. The market's open. Let's stay safe out there. Be careful. Let's get after it. MicroStrategy is a no touch for me, Kevin. I wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. It has potentials of being delisted. Why trade something that could take all your money in one trade, right? So nothing for me, guys. All right, VXX already getting the spike there towards the 5360s. Big spike out the gates here. Now I just got to figure out, do I want to take this spike or not? TOVX, big spike on that one. That's one thing I'm going to go looking at. Let's go trade the smaller account first. We'll figure out what's going on in the market in just a second. TOVX, one that I'm watching here. Fake spike out towards 230s, now pulling back here. What happened with Coach? Let's take a look at that one. $3, just getting a little bit of a push there. I'm watching this one. I do like this one. I do want to trade it today. Let's see what happens here. All right, guys, taking a little bit there in that COCH there. Just took 100 shares just to start it there. We'll see what happens here if it starts to play out towards the upside. It did do a couple of fake outs right before the gates, so I'm looking to hold right now off the 280s. Only risking $30 on the name right now. If it starts to come back towards 310, though, I want to start adding in this. All right, guys, setting up some ads here. If it starts to push in my direction, stop right now is 277, $30 of risk. Tesla, big push up here, guys. So the market bouncing a little bit there. That's going to give some opportunities. TOVX down to $2. Looking to see if that one holds a $2 pullback, comes right back up towards the 230s. It is bouncing a little bit. So keeping a close eye on TOVX. That'll be one to watch, especially above 230s. It's trying to hold the 220 pullback here. We'll see if it actually makes the move here. COCH just got me out towards that 270s. Could still get me back in above the 310s. I'm going to have some stop orders ready there if it does do a spike back up there, guys. So I just took another $30 hit there, but still using my cushion this morning. Still not in the red and ready to keep getting after it, team. If it gets back above that 310, I'm going to get right back into COCH. The idea here is it stopped out, kept me safe there, cut down $30, and I can get back into the name here. All right, going to go back to the main account at the VXX pulling back there. I'm looking at Apple. Apple's trying to hold the 221 pullback, and it did undercut that. Got some volume to come in there, and I think that some buyers tried to step up off that 221. So let's see if it cuts it down again here. TOVX alert, 230s now going on TOVX. Slow on TOVX, guys. There's a 250 run. So there it went. Got that, missed that order, missed that one, guys. Big move there in TOVX. Pulling back there, already getting that launch there. Now 20%, too far for me, guys. I missed that trade. I hope somebody was able to nail that TOVX. Nice move there on that action. That's what's going to get me to take a look at COCH to see if it follows along here and then starts to make a move based on TOVX's breakout. But definitely nice move there on TOVX if you guys were able to nail that. Big push up there to the 260 spot. It finally got towards the level that I was trying to take profits towards, so like to 270s, 280s. So I think at this point, yeah, I could get to 3, but nothing that I'm going to touch right now because it's just too high off this 250. Could keep going though towards 3. COCH still looking for that to start to climb back here. We'll see what happens with that one if it can make the move. Going to go to the main account. We'll see if I do get into that COCH. That's a spike towards 310s and 315s. SPY coming back. We'll see if the market really starts to hold. Now Apple holding that 221 tells me that, yeah, we could start actually pushing right now. We're actually pushing and holding. Let's see what happens. How's Amazon doing here? We got a small push towards the 200. Now we'll look to see what happens if it can go to the 201 or not. That's what I'm watching for, because if it starts to drop, that's where we got to be a little bit careful. I'm being patient here and waiting for the market really to decipher if it wants to do maybe just a wicked down move. Apple trying to hold in right now. All right, we'll see if Coach ever gets moving there. Watching the VIX right now. All right, hard action on that first action. I'm going at the VXX right now. I'm trying to get it on the main account. I want to see one more bottoming action first here. Market's still holding up pretty well here. 572's held that pullback there. Apple almost 223s now. Apple holding in. Apple holding in. I think that's very important to catch, guys. Apple doing well. That tells me that the market could start to climb back with Apple. Where can we run into some resistance? We're going to run into it around the 224 spot, but it's at 223s. Still got about a point there to get to that spot. Now VXX starting to play back to the upside here. I got the opportunity if I want to take it off the 34s. I still think we got one more pullback, one more attempt for the SPY to break to the upside here, and we're getting it. So I think at this point, I just stay on the sideline. I watch Apple. Apple just rips here to the upside. Guess what? We're starting to climb back. So can't be trying to fight something that's not happening, right? Right now, I see utilities leading from the open. That's a very important outlook there. I'm going to take a look here. I'm going to take another assessment here. Just give me a quick. All right, there. So what's leading today? Communication services, healthcare taking off, guys. So look for names like Lilly that were kind of hit hard. Maybe they start to bounce back. Looking at Pfizer here to see if it bounces back. Industrials strong out the gates. We'll see if those can bounce back. Can CAT hang on the pullback? Was a bad report, but hanging on right now. Deere trying to make an up move. XLI trying to make an up move. Everything green out the open tells me more and more. Be careful for a rally, a continued rally all the way back. All right, let's change the music up. Let me slow things down a little bit. Sorry about the hype music here. Let's go ahead. Let's go back to the live trading action. Trying to focus in, trying to make that money today. Let's go. SPY holding well. SPY holding well, guys. That's going to help some stocks start to come back here. ADMA, another small name, well, kind of small name, really getting a nice little rip there. CDXC, pulling back off the $4. We'll see what happens on that one. Apple 223 is holding right now. Q's starting to work its way back. We'll see if it starts to make a dip out of nowhere. There's the VXX trying down one more time. That's why I kind of was waiting a little bit. I saw the MACD. It just didn't look like it was time yet. Could be closer towards that 9:45 time. We are getting that strength to come in right now. Even AMD starting to work its way back. Tesla looking like it wants 253s. Will it get the 253s? Apple now 223.30s, continuing to the upside. Amazon trying to hold on. Amazon's coming down. That's actually causing us not to be able to really lift off there. Microsoft just barely hanging on. Google on the 172. Did get close to that 170 out the gates there. Before the gates, it was 170.13. So that was a good level. We'll see if it gets back there towards the 170 today. All right, seeing the up action, guys. There's the push. There's the push in the market. Apple started to push back there. The strength coming back with Apple. That's going to help the market, right? I'm just watching Apple now. If Apple can stay green, really shouldn't be betting to the downside. Apple working its way back. All right, looking around, financial services doing decent. Healthcare, of course, there's some names doing well there. Energy continuing on the upside. Of course, we talked about XOM's earnings. Will that continue the upside in oil today? It's actually getting hit right now. SPY, big push there off the 572.20s, now towards 573s. So nice move there in the SPY. Stock sell, man. Now starting to recover that 31. So you get in the market to start working its way back up. Now Apple starts to take a little bit of a hit there. We'll see if we start to get some leak here. Was it a fake out? See, guys, we'll see. Hard hit on the VIX to the downside there. Gonna need a lot to recover the support. Support around 58s. Downside coming in the VXX, the SPY holding up here. Tesla trying to make the push to the upside back above the 254 spot. I'm watching, guys. I'm watching around. I mean, it's really interesting to see the stocks rise. And CNBC tried their best. They tried their best here, guys. Sorry for making fun of them, man, but it's hard, guys. Look here on the news. Stocks rise to start November as Amazon stock soars. As the shares soar. They're just trying to find something right now. They're like, why is the stock market up? I'm sure they had the article ready for stock market down. Horrible jobs. That's how the market is, guys. If it can just start coming back on us today. Even though that was a negative news, that's why I felt a little bit more positive. That's why I tried to do stock sell earlier. Apple's still holding up, guys. Apple's still holding up. So if there's one name that's holding it well, it's Apple right now. So I'm watching to see if we get any kind of takedown back towards VWAP. There's the Qs ripping higher is the Qs there. So stock sell now towards 31.20 is really pushing strong there. So I could take a look at like an AMD that's like a momentum name. That's not a bad one to look at. I got to look at what's up here in stock sell, or maybe what's up in kind of the Qs to see what we can trade there. Marvell doing well today. So that's a good one that had a nice daily chart. Nice daily chart on this Marvell. Really nice breakout to the upside here on Marvell. So pullbacks to like 84.70s, 84.80s look good. Just broke through that 85 really well. Marvell, nice takeoff there off the 85. All right, those smaller names, COCH, not going anywhere here. So in a second, I'm going to cancel my orders there. Let's go back to it here, COCH. Not doing anything here, guys. So I'll put it at, I'm just going to probably cancel my orders that are out there just sitting. I'll alert you guys if that thing moves back. Right now, I don't think it is. All right, getting back towards the action. Let's go take a look. What else? Dixie's trying to get a little bounce there. SPY starting to come back down, but it's holding in well. Apple's one of those names that I'm really keeping an eye on. Amazon trying to come back here. 198.94 is trying to climb back. Looking at the stocks moving today, it's a lot of tech names that are holding up well. Look at Google and back up to 173.50. So that's actually been a pretty decent move there in Google. Here comes the SPY starting to turn around. It's going to give an attempt here. Let's see what happens. I think you could still see a little spike at least in the VIX. Let's see what we get out of this. Not much on the action right now, guys. A little bit of some back and forth, and it seems a little tricky right now. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to use the money, right? TLVX back at 217. We'll see if that actually works back. It got up there to 260s multiple times. It could be a fade now. Reddit fading today, guys. So of course that made an insane move, but it's turning around off the 120. Gonna get back to 109 today. Doesn't seem too bad. We'll see if it starts to climb back. It faded away already. 1, 2, could be the third time now. Actually doesn't look bad at all right here, Reddit. Looks good for the short. It's pulled back fast still from this morning, so a little bit on the oversold side. Could bounce back on the hourly first towards 116 and then get a takedown a little bit later in the day. This is one to watch, right? I mean, it did just do an extreme move, so I'd look for a little bit of a bounce there. Want to get shorted here, but I need to see the market really kind of going with it, and it's not. Apple holding well there, guys. Apple just held the VWAP pretty well there. Reddit working itself back higher, so we're holding in right now, guys. That's one thing's for sure. XLK is definitely one way to watch this today. First Solar doing really well, guys. Some solar names doing well. That shows me more and more momentum, right? Those momentum names. A lot of times solar has a momentum push. SWKS doesn't look too bad off this 88.50s back towards 89. That's about 50 cents higher, right? Skyworks, that's been hit hard though. Apple's still holding in well, bouncing back today, guys. Amazon now starting to approach the break to the upside. Stock sell holding that 31 right now. I'm looking at that. All right, guys, taking a little bit of stock sell here, and I want to hold off the 30.90s, but got a first entry there at 30.19, 31.19s here. I want to see if it holds the 90 MA, the pullback that it just did off that 31. So don't want to even below that 31s now. All right, just added there, guys. Added another 200. Back through 31.30s. I want to take another add and then just start to hold break even. Looks like it's holding well here. Now it's going to go for that next move. It's going for it. I'm setting a stop in just a second here, guys. I do have a good size now. Holding well right now. Now going to give me the pullback test here. Market's starting to slow down a little bit. Got to be careful. Quick pullback there, guys. All right, holding well. I just set my wrist there at 31.09s. My add here through the 31.30s. All right, looking to add if I get another breakout attempt through the 31.35s here. SPY, though, holding up, though. Apple right back down. Just when I think I got it there. Apple now starting to crumble. Need to get Apple back into the green. If not, if it just starts breaking through this 221, watch out. All right, here's the attempt now. As it goes up towards the 30s on the stock sell, I'm going to go ahead and put a stop there in a second. So I want to hold off this kind of 90 MA. 9 EMAs, 31.13s now. All right, moved it to 31.13s. In a second, I'm going to go for the ad and go for the win here. Let's see it. It's 30. I have it at 36 for the ad. It has to go through the high of the day. If not, it could be a trap right back down. All right, moving it up closer towards break even in a second. All right, here's a hard pullback, guys. It could cut me out. So definitely getting a little choppy here now. We're going to get a move in a second here. You got to be careful here as you're getting a little bit more of a speed up. In a second, we're going to get that ramp up period. That's where you got to be careful. It could be wicked here. Keeping the risk right now managed at 56. So very good, easy risk here. If we get the big breakout, I'll be up towards 800 shares. Might even add another 400. But I'll add that extra 200 on a market order if it starts to really just take off here. So taking a shot here, guys. You never know when things are going to work out. The only thing you know is how to take the trades, right? How you doing on this beautiful Friday? Jan, trying to get it going, man. Trying to get that money. Focus on execution, not making money. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. But the truth is execution comes with the money, right? Meta Sync in the chat. I see it. What's up out there? I want to buy, but your platform not good. Can I connect with TradingView? Why is the platform not good? You see me use it every single day. And there's no reason why you can't use another platform. I'm using TC2000 here to say that, to look at it, right? To make my decisions. All right, guys, let's cut out there for that $50 loss there. Really was a kind of a manageable situation. Not going to let it try to break down the VWAP here. The big thing is looking at Apple. Right now it's trying to recover, and it could still recover and just take off here, right? So that's one thing to know. And if Apple takes off there, market's still looking gravy here. So I might just get right back into Soxel with the 600 shares, but I got to be careful there. I gave myself the chance there and the manageable risk. That's what's important to me. Now the market's starting to look a little heavy and the VXX starting to work its way back. So we got to be careful on both sides of the trade here. Apple could still break down, but it's looking more like a breakout above the 223s. So I just gave myself the ability of not taking a huge hit on Soxel. Could still watch it for the up move though. Here comes the recover now. Still watching Apple, and the Qs are slowing down. That tells me a little bit of concern. But they're holding the 9 and not going to the VWAP. That's a strong move. That shows strength in the market here. Apple trying to make that break to the upside. Amazon, if it goes green here, it's going to be looking great through the 200. Now we're really starting to climb back. Now things are looking great here. Soxel now pushing now to 35s. This is where I would have got my ad here. So things are starting to look a lot better here in Soxel. Man, Soxel's a hard one for me. I will tell you guys, because it moves 20 cents in between the range a lot and then goes for the breakout. But the breakout was what? 20 cents higher. It really wasn't that big of a move. That's why I just don't trade Soxel well. Might go for like a momentum name like AMD here if the market really wants to break to the upside. Marvell's another one that was leading to the upside and held that nice pullback now towards 86.76. Tesla back down. I will say that. Google trying to hold on this 173 here. SPY starting to look a little weak there. We'll see if the weakness comes back into Apple. That's really where I'm watching here. Apple trying to hold here. So is Soxel trying to hold the pullback of the 3130s. That's where I would play now if I was going back into it. I would have got in at 3130s, but I'm holding off now because it just doesn't seem like I have a direction picked yet. All right, guys, I'm seeing the VIX start to come back a little bit here. We'll see if it actually takes off. The SPY still pushing, Q still pushing back. Looking at some growth names to see what's bouncing back today. Coin, so Clean Spark. Yeah, Clean Spark trying to get back to the 11s here. So we start to climb back. This is one that I do want some action on, and I can take this one with bigger size. Right now, I'm going off of Apple, guys. Apple's just the call for me, and it's a lot on just the levels. So Apple, I'm looking at, does it take the 223.50 or does it go back to 222? 223.50s, this could break out and just keep it rocking and rolling. And when Apple doesn't get in the news often, that's something to tell you guys something. I think fund managers were keeping this on the low today. Soxal holding that 31.30 pullback, so still looking decent on that. Apple now taking it up there to the 223.30s. Clean Spark looks like it wants to take the 11 here. $10.98. A lot of volume waiting there at 11 though. Apple continuing to climb. Alert's about to hit there for me on Apple. There it is. There's Apple, 223.80s now. See if the market follows Apple. Clean Spark trying to get through that 11 now. Market pushing here. Let's see what happens. Fake out on that move there. Man, what a fake out here. I'm going for the VXX, guys. Just longed a little bit of the VXX, only 500 shares to start there because it was a little bit of some wicked action there on both sides, guys. So just be careful out there. I could be wrong here too. So I think that right now it just shows me how wicked it was. Got there 56.18s. I'm at 56.22s right now. What's going to happen here, guys? It's such a mixed noise. Apple's going up and breaking highs. The SPY's going down. The Q's going down. But Apple could be the one that's actually leading here. It's mixed. 224. So if my Apple indicator is right, well, then I'm on the wrong play. Let's just say that much. Apple continuing to lift, and it's impressive to me really right now. I feel like we're just going to get a ramp back up here. Got to stay small, guys. 65 in the risk right now for the VXX. Want to stay small. Give myself the ability to stay into the trade just in case here the SPY doesn't break down. It was a wicked move down here, and Apple's still breaking through the highs. Look at that, 224.50s. This is why I feel like the market's going to come back up. This is why I'm probably on the wrong play right now. That's one thing I can say. Just clearly, just looking at the action, right? Stock sell still looks good off that 3130s. Now could really get going. The Q's made an attempt to the downside. Now it's going whipsaw back up, right? So AMD, I'll watch that here. Clean Spark still looks good off that 11. It looks like it wants to break the 11 right now. We'll see what happens here. Both sides of the trades are trying to make moves, and we're getting wicked moves on both sides. So right now, I'm just going off of Apple. Apple was a strong move higher there. Amazon moved to the downside. So there's just a mixed noise. Google downside, right? So mixed noise all around here. Let's see what happens here. All right, getting a spike in the VIX here, guys. About to take the shot here towards the upside, and then I got to hold break even on the rest. SPY hard action on the first action to the downside here. This is my chance to take a shot. Apple's still going up. It is such a battle right now, guys. Such a battle. Tough to call the market right now. Normally I have like some edge. Not feeling it right now, guys. Got to be careful. Mitch, do TLT go up when the interest rates are cut? Yeah, it has more to do with looking at the yields overall. So what they look at is the treasury yields, right? And so it's a little bit of a mixed noise. I don't think it's as simple as just, oh, cuts and then that's what happens, right? So I think that's what you got to be watching for. The environment here is that the TLT, and I'll look at the TLT in a second. Let's just get through this VX trade. We'll talk about it in a second, guys. I think that's an interesting conversation, though. Now SPY heading to the downside here. Here's my shot here, guys. I just got to take the shot. And as soon as I say that, I see the SPY bouncing. It is very difficult to read right now, guys. It is trying to trap on both sides. Trapping right now, going to get me out here, more than likely here. Out there on the VXX there on the downside, and the SPY comes back, guys. So just goes to show you. And the VXX coming back, guys. It is wicked right now. Just don't want to be hanging out there near the supports right now, because the truth is they're trying to wicked move on both sides right now. Apple starting to recover there. It's a hard trade today, guys. Hard trading. Look at Apple. Apple's so interesting, man, because it just holds on now. Stock sell at the 31s here. SPY just coming right back, guys. Right back. The chop continues, guys. The chop continues. But one thing for certain is that the SPY didn't even make a move to the VWAP. So that tells me more and more it's trying to hold on here. And Apple, I think, is really the stock to watch. Amazon just dumped there. Market's coming back. And a lot of that, I think, is Apple here. Looking at potentially trading Apple here. All right, good first action here on Apple. Holding in this 224 spot. All right, I'm going to take a little bit here on Apple, looking for it to break through the high there, the 224.80s, but I only took 200 shares. So got to be a little bit careful for the 224 pullback. Apple just looks strong, and it looks like it wants to go and just take 225. So I'm going to give it the chance right here to go and take it. Let's see if I can just make some money back here. I'm not trying to make it a million here. I'm just trying to make a nice little $100, $200 trade. There we go. 225 showing up there. All right, trying to take the money off here, guys, into the breakout. All right, trying to take the money now. Ah, no fill there. Come on. Looking for that next push here, guys. Big push in the SPY, guys. Big push in the SPY. Holding break even right now. I can't lose on this position. Just trying to grind it higher. Seeing the SPY take off there. SPY towards 573s. The Q's pushing strong too. So I'm just looking at Apple as being that indicator today. Apple coming back on me now. Just trying to reload on the 225s. Here comes that attempt here. Here comes that reload attempt here for Apple on the 225s. Let's see if it reloads there and the Qs hold that 9 EMA pullback. Not a bad action today, guys. I'm trying to battle it, trying to get some money back here, and then see if we can get into the green here in one trade. SPY just continuing to climb back. Could look for names also to climb back if the market just keeps doing this. There's a big order in Apple there, guys. Got to be careful here. Big order in Apple right there. So I'm setting the break even stop here. It could stop me out on that big order. There's a big order that went through there. 900,000 shares to buy at 224.80s. That could actually cause a wick down here and then the breakout to the upside. So that's where you got to be a little bit careful. I'm risking a tiny bit, like 18 bucks, because it could come down a little bit and then break out. You got to be careful here, guys. We'll see what happens when 900,000 to buy. That's what went through there. And I love to catch big orders for you guys. And that's a big order right there in the dark blue box on the bottom right. So 900,000 shares to buy is definitely something to catch. That means momentum is about to move, guys. Let's see what happens here. 10 a.m. candles here. VIX to the downside on the first action. Could still reverse, guys. You always got to keep that in mind. So I'm looking at Apple right now to see if it breaks back above the 225s. That's an important level. First action back up, but could be wicked back down. So I'm putting break even now just because if it comes back to me, I need to get out here. Can't risk it on a day where I'm down. Now, if it just breaks out here, I'm looking good to make maybe 300 on the upside. So all right, Apple, what you're going to do, Q's right back to the top end, right? So let's look for a break above this and the continuation. Let's see if we get that 489s to start showing up on the Q's. Good push with that first action there. Whatever happened to CLCH? Didn't do anything. Apple, 225s now. Holding well. Let's go. All right, guys. What are you guys looking at in the chat? Smash it up. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, team, I'm back. Let's see it. Let's see what you want to do, Apple. There's a big break for the SPY to the upside, so that looks good here. I'm canceling the stop. Just want to see this break to the upside here. Let's see if we get the breakout. If we get a quick candle on the downside, that's where we got to be careful now. SPY just making another attempt. 489 starting to show there. So just looking for Apple to continue going here. Let's see if we get another leg up here towards maybe the 226, and then I can take the profits. If not, I might just take the money right here. It is pulling back here. Could come back to VWAP, so I got to keep that in mind with Apple. Am getting the push up, but it's not holding the 225 where it just went from. So a second here, I might just take the money. Yeah, pulling back fast there, guys. Got to be careful here. It might cut me out on Apple here. Have it slightly below it here. Let's see if it holds. If it cuts back down towards the 224s, I want to get out and maybe get back in it, but Q's still holding well here. I want to hold off the 90 MA. Don't want it to undercut me and get me out. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom. And right there, it got me. So could still keep coming back up there, but didn't want to push it there, guys. So just took the small gain there, ready to get back into any names that really kind of recover the 9. The problem is that when they break the 9, they have a tendency of when we get momentum swings, it's like a quick drop there. And it could drop here to the 224s, even the 223s, is 222.75s. So I'm keeping that in mind here as we start to get the action. VIX on the short side might have been the good trade there. When I was trying to long it, maybe flipping the trade to the short side. Just calling it, right, as I see it. All right, we'll see what other ones are making moves out there, guys. If you guys see anything moving, let me know. I'm going to go taking a look at the scanners and see what I see. But I do see continued upside potential. Apple just didn't give it to me there. It pulled back, and now it looks like it wants to recover. So I could have just got out of Apple too quickly there. Here it is, back towards 225. Still looks good there, too. That's the crazy part about it. AMD did start making its way back up. Soxel there finally made its way above that 31 and pushed towards 3140s, but it didn't really move much, right? Remember, I was in at this and looking for like 380s and just 3180s. It still doesn't make the move there. Tesla still chopping around, could still pull back there. Google now still dropping there. It still hasn't seemed like a big bullish day. It seems like we could still see some wicked moves. Q's still pushing back, though. That's still doing well, and you got to stick to the names that are doing well, right? Those are the ones that could continue doing well. Here, Qualcomm having a pretty decent day. Intuit, Lululemon also pushing strong. Looking through the names, trying to find some trades out there, guys, and there's not much moving fast there. Airbnb is a good one. I've been watching that. It's actually holding pretty well for the 35 for the swing trade. This is a swing attempt, right? Where you could maybe risk off the 34s, 134s. You can see it reclaim that today. Could go back to the 138s and 140. There's Apple on a little bit of a cut down, cutting out some bulls, and now it could recover. So I'm just watching it here to see if it's starting to recover. I can play it back again, but I just definitely did want to step out there, take the gain, and then see if it comes back here. That's starting to drop fast there. So If Apple drops fast, that's how the market can turn back to the bear side. We'll see if the VIX just shoots back. I mean, holy moly. It's been tough trading out there, guys. All right, guys, it's 10:17. So we've had at least like a half an hour, 45 minutes of some bullishness. Will we come back to some bearishness here? And the market loves to be really choppy on Friday. So that's one thing I will say. And I really want to get out of the week with $1,000. So I have 123 more to kind of risk here. I could take about one more trade here. Got to be careful. Looking at potentially taking this VIX long, right? Of course, just risk to return wise, off 55s, it seems to make sense, right? 55s right below it. It could come right back up. Just looking at that as action. But it's all about Apple. It really is all about Apple, because if Apple just comes crumbling down here, I feel like the market will just come crumbling down with it. But the Qs keep hanging on and the SPY keeps hanging on. So we are just climbing slowly up back on the other side of things, right? And so maybe taking a look at some of the healthcare names. How are those doing there? Lilly trying to recover there, right? Looking around to see what names are doing well here today. AMRN doing decent. Trying to take a look to see what is doing well, maybe in some biotechs. Let's go to the bigger boys. And it's not much, man. It's actually surprising to see some of these up. We could start trading maybe some of the ETFs here. Just trying to look at the XLV, right? That's one way to look at it. XLV. You see it's trying to hold in there. Apple, though, pretty weak now after that strong move there. VXX looking interesting here. Just bounced off the 55s here, looking interesting. I'm going to go take a shot here, guys, and we'll see what happens. It's definitely a tough trade, that's for sure. Market's still holding up here. Apple's still somewhat holding up. That's why I'm not just jumping, and I want to, but you got to be patient. Got to be patient with these. Q's back up there all the way closer towards the resistance, the hourly, which is 490.69. So we could still have ways back to reclaim, right? So that's one thing I'm just keeping in mind. We are reclaiming some action. Is this a dead cat bounce? Things to think about. Doesn't look like it, guys. It doesn't look like a dead cat bounce. That's why I'm not just jumping on the VIX right now. As I see the SPY kind of holding up here, I see the Apple holding up. That's really what I'm watching, because I feel like Apple can reclaim here and just get right back up. But look at the 5 minute. It's trying to hold kind of this support here towards 224s and then go right back up. So I'm watching that 224 to get back in. Of course, you guys know I got in at 224.40s. It did do a push there. So maybe I should have taken some profits, got back into the trade. It was looking good, though, for a big breakout there in Apple with the SPY going like, you know, almost parabolic for a second there. It really pushed. So I'm looking to see if we can continuation, because that's the advancing shoulders pattern. It's a good pattern here for the SPY. Watching the action, guys. What's up out there? Yeah, it is a good bounce back. That's for sure. Amazon being mentioned in the chat. Bought the Tesla. Okay. How is Tesla doing there? Just hanging out, right? It has some nice bottoming action there. Just can't go right back towards that 250. Man, what a trappy market, like always, guys. Sometimes you just get into that trap. CDCX now. or CDXC. This one's trying to break above the $5 spot there. Let's go to the limited account, see if we can get this bad boy. Just broke about the 5, could keep going here. Momentum doesn't look bad on this. Held the 490s. Now it looks great. I would need a little bit further pullback to 505, maybe play off the 5. But that's just what I'm looking at here in CDXC. And just when I say that, Apple starts to just push to the upside. So reclaiming that 224.40s and trying to keep pushing here. It's like, oh, Mitch, you want to go look at something else? Well, let's make it run. Oh, man, this is a tough one, man. Tough day for me. I'll say that. I might call it quits, man, because it's just tough trading out there right now. VIX just undercut 55 again and holding. All right, guys. It ain't easy to say this, but I'm going to go for a VIXy trade here. Taking it. 55.15s here, guys. 55.15s. Risking about 150. Of course, I got about 116 I really want to risk here, so I got to make sure that I stay to that. That's below the low right now, so really risking about 110 right now. Let's see if this starts to work back here. Gonna get a test right here. Watching the action here really closely. Watching Apple to see if it goes red candle here. Talking on the 5-minute. Whew, this one's going to be a hard one here, guys. Got to be careful here on both sides of the trade. It's going to pressure the overall market, just still saying lift off. Apple struggling here. We'll see if it starts to make the move to the downside towards 224s. All right, seeing that quick move to the upside. A lot of times we get a sweep down on that. So at this point, I'm going to set my risk in a second here. All right, setting my risk on that down action. Right there, it's the wipeout move. So I'm just trying to protect myself here. If I was deep into the green, I could hold break even and that'd be a little bit different. But right here, it's more about risk. Risk is back below 55.04s. So back through this 55.04s, I don't even want it to go through this wick. So looking for a quick sweep back to 55.20s. If not, can get me out. Because the truth is that just means that I'm just not seeing it right now. Apple would be going higher, back to the 225s, maybe 226 available to you there. SPY, just strong bounce back move today. Now, where I'm thinking we run into something is it could be as we start going back into the 490 spot, right? There was this little gap that we came back and filled. Now we've come back and we filled that gap. now we could start to hold up around this 489. Multiple tops here. Let's see what happens as it go through that 490 here. Now I'm starting to see that drop and the VIX starting to come back into me. So that looks good here. Let's see if it really does the spike through the 5520s now. Still seeing up in the SPY, so I don't feel like it's going to happen. And sometimes, like when that happens, a lot of times I can just down risk here. Let's give it a shot here, guys. Now we're into the green. We're starting to lift here. Starting to come down on the market, starting to come down on Apple. See if we can get a quick spike here. I'm going to throw out an order just in case we get a quick spike. Canceling it for now. Will Apple break the 224s? I think that's what that's what I'm watching right now. SPY though still holding really well. So if we do get the up action here in the Qs and the SPY, you can really start taking a look at names that haven't broken to the upside, right? If we do get a breakdown, you look at the opposite, right? You look at names that were strong, now could start to break down, right? So we'll see what happens here. First spike going towards the downside for me on Apple. And so I'm watching to see if that could really break it. We'll see if we get that first action. It's right off that level. It just rejected my level. It's breaking out to the upside. It's probably going to cut me out here, guys. So I gave it the chance. It's probably going to cut me out here. SPY is the one that's pushing. So that's one thing I'll note, and I'll tell you guys, the SPY is pushing there. More than likely going to get me out here unless it's just a blow off top and it just completely crumbles. But definitely not going to battle it either. 224 recovery on Apple makes sense also if the market comes back here. So you're getting the opportunity on both sides. Look at the Qs trying to break to the upside there. So I don't think I'll get the trade on mine to the upside on the VIX. If anything, downside seems to make sense there on the VIX. We'll see if it breaks right here. It cuts me out. Look at the SPY push there, guys. Finally did give a nice push on the SPY. So that to me makes Apple look good here on 224s for a push back to 225s, maybe even 226 available, 2 points higher. But I don't want to get out of my VIX trade just to get out and then to get back in. That just doesn't make sense on Apple. I'm just going to play this how it is and probably call it a day with this hit. Other than that, doesn't look good there for me. We'll see if it just does a random spike. Put it this way, don't expect to be in the green. And when you don't expect to be in the green, that's probably pretty much my time to get out. But I'm just setting my stop and letting it work. All right, let's see a look at what else is moving. Maybe going to the smaller names here before the end of the day here. It's 10:30. We still got a little bit of time. Let's go take a look around. How did that COCH end up trading? It didn't do anything, man. That thing just didn't even trade volume, and that's the problem there. What about the other one that we were trading a little earlier? That's going to be your TOVX. And you guys that play the smaller names, what are you guys taking a look at now? TOVX went up there and came right back down. Hollow. I played this one off of 3 before. It's back towards 3. We'll see if this one can really get going. Hey, doesn't look good right now. I'll tell you that much. Hollow. ADMA. All right there, guys. Just pretty much got hit there. Let's go take a look here. That was a little bit of a swing there. I think I might have gotten hit and then it just literally reversed right on the ticker. Oh, come on, man. Got me out at 55.04 and it came right back up, guys. Could have got stop hunted there. As Apple cut the 224s there, and the SPY also cut back down. So that's a hard one to take there. Hard one to take indeed, because it got me out at the low, guys. It got me out at the low. A little part of me is like revenge. Get back in. Get back in. Nah, I'm done for the day, guys. Done for the day. Down 353. Manageable exit there. Played it. Just didn't find the trades today, guys. You guys see it there. Strike one on sock sell before the open. Strike two on sock sell. Strike one on the VIX. Then one on Apple. Then VIX down, right? So 4 trades in the red, 1 trade in the green. There's the VIX to the downside. There's the SPY holding in. Apple doing well. The mentality today that if Apple came back, the market would come back was a great mentality. Did I trade off of that? Probably not as best as I could. I was looking at sock sell, and that's why I really don't like sock sell. I'm telling you guys, I got to kick these off my trading list. Sock sell and sock cess, they just don't trade well for me. And they move, but they move like 20 or 30 cents. And then they move wicked on the comebacks, right? And so for me, got to start not playing these. These aren't the best plays for me. The VIX, I end up playing a little bit better. A lot of times I can get cut out of this, get back in it, and then make some good money. We'll see what happens today. SPY now starting to crumble back down. A little part of me sees the VIX as an opportunity, but I'm going to just stay on the sideline, and we'll see what happens with that, right? If I really wanted to play it, I could go to the limited account and maybe try to play it like that. Go to the VIXY. The VIXY is a little bit tighter. It's a 1350 stock, right? It's not as big, doesn't cost as much, so you can get a little bit more sizing and look for a bigger move. We'll see what happens. I don't think the market's just going to crumble now, and so I just think I'm just going to stay on the sideline. All right, guys, it's 10:33. I'll still stick around for like another maybe 10 or 15 minutes, guys, but it's Friday. So if you're at that point like me that is just like, well, it's too much today, well, it's probably going to be too much. Still up in the limited account, up about 85, but there's just not much there, right? So smash the like, guys. Going to stay safe. Chop, chop, chop. Fighting the emotions. Yeah, I feel like it is, man. RIP, SPY. We'll see what happens with that. All right, Apple's still trying to hold that 223s now, back towards 223.50s. Could break that, and the SPY coming down fast here. So, of course, the VIXY is going to be looking decent in a second. But, hey, I'm not going to be battling that, guys. I tried to stay in there, and maybe it's just coming into the VIXY with a little bit smaller size. Maybe it's the 500 shares, right? Those are the type of things that you can think about to get around that, but not a battle today that I want to keep up with. Amazon bouncing there. We'll see if it's able to bounce and hang on. Now starting to take a look to see what sectors are in the green, what sectors are in the red. Red is utilities and energy. Defensive slightly green, right? And I'm taking a look in the recent hour, and it doesn't seem like anything's green in the recent hour. And so that tells me more and more that maybe we're just starting to see the decline. So take a look at the recent hour. Here it is. I got some recent data here. For some reason, it's not updating here. I need to go take a look at that. But technology is up 0.37. Financial services coming back. Industrials coming back. Cyclicals. So those are the names that are doing well here. We'll look to see if we see a change of trend in some of these other ones that are down, like energy. So energy's pulled back a decent amount there with XOM back to 117.55. Will all of a sudden start to get some love. Chevron also back to the VWAP and actually held a nice little breakout there. So we'll look to see if it comes back above the 155. Apple now down, and that's how it goes, guys. It's back at VWAP, so it's doing that VWAP attempt. The VIX is probably looking like it wants to just jump off that 5404. But man, I'm just staying on the sideline today, guys. It doesn't seem like I'm getting any edge. And when your edge is off, yeah, it's better just to stay on the sideline. CDXC. Let's take a look at that one. Of course, this one was trying to break out from 5 earlier. Did do the breakout. Went all the way up there to 550s. Now pulling back. What happened to all those big runners, right? Whatever happened to drug? I think still hanging on there. Yeah, still hanging on there. That's for sure. Let's go to the biotechs and see what's up at the top here. We got CDXC, ENSC, trying to get through the 76 cents. This VIR doesn't look too bad. Nice little pullback after the opening drive. Now starting to pull back here. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. Not too bad on this. Really doesn't look that bad. It's a nice little pullback. The next layer of support brings it back there towards like 825s, 830s, but it's holding in pretty decent here. We'll look to see if it starts to work its way back on the 1-minute VIR. What other ones are showing up there? THAR. I think we saw this one move a couple of days ago. Yeah, a couple of days ago. It's starting to push above the $3, but doesn't really have the volume to drive it, right? And that's the problem with this one. It's not that it doesn't look good on the chart. The chart looks great. The volume looks atrocious. Now Apple coming down badly there, and look at the VXX jump there to 55.40s in just one candle. That right there was a $300, $400 trade, right? And so, of course, I'm down 300, but there's the 400 right back. So that would have been my break-even trade, and so be it, guys. I'm probably just going to call it a wrap on that. I am seeing that start to make it to move back, and so that means that the SPY is probably coming down fast, and there's going to be some trap out there as traders were looking for some continuation, and Apple starting to crumble back down. Could still catch some VWAP, but now the Q's coming down also. Be careful out there, guys. Going to see some chop out there until the end of the day. Clean Spark looked good off that 11. It eventually went to 1120s, but now could come right back down below that. We'll see what happens there. Riot up about 5%, still holding in there for some of the Bitcoin names. Not seeing much action. DJT down another 9% today, guys. That's why I don't play DJT, man. COCH, that thing didn't go anywhere, and I thought it would at least get some kind of lift with that kind of pop in the morning, but it just didn't get any kind of lift. ADMA trying to hold that 1980s 9 EMA pullback, could come back through the 20s and go through the 2025s. It's not a bad looking stock, but it's not much on the upside that I can see there. ASPI, this one looks a little bit better, guys, because it's a repeated pattern, and I like repeated patterns. So I'm actually liking this off the 8s right now. So I'm going to look at this, guys. ASPI. Looking at maybe potentially playing this right here, guys. So looks interesting for me. All right, there's a little spike. It was just up there to 850s. It looks like it could come back through that 807. The 807 is the hard part to get through here. I'm going to take the shot and try to hold it really tight towards that 790s here. But the big thing is that this order right here, this 5200 sitting at 807, we're going to struggle, as we were right there and we struggled just a moment ago at that 807. So that's the price that really needs to get taken out for this to really kind of push right back up towards that high. We'll see if we get it, as this is a repeated pattern. As I see it right here, it came back to the support and then took the next lift, right? So I'm looking for a similar pattern up there, back towards support, and then taking the push. Right now, it just touched 790s, could not come back to 790s and just take the next move. Why is this? This is just what I call a repeated pattern in these smaller names. When they repeat, I want to catch that. And I'm looking for the next one to push back here towards the 850s. Let's see what happens here, guys. 1,000 shares in the smaller account is not anything to be shy about. So I told you, in the limited account, I'm still going to take it in like bigger chunks and try to take bigger trades, because that's what this limited account gives me the opportunity to do. So I have no problem taking a shot on it. Have a good one. Hey, take care, Steph. I know it's been a hard one. And so if you need to get out of here, no worries. Get out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Like always, come back refreshed. Come back ready. Maybe with a new eval to get after it on Monday. All right, we'll see if we get the lift there, if we can get the push there. Right now, it's kind of just hanging out here, looking for that to start to make the move here. Well, guys, I just noticed something. I don't see anybody telling me it, but I just noticed something. I'm actually short this. Wrong trade there, guys. No one yelled at me. No one tried to save me. Don't worry, I'll save myself. I caught it. I'm still looking for the upside for this, but now I'm like, man, Mitch, you might want to take a second here. All right, let's see what happens here, guys. The market's still coming down here. Market's getting that wipeout look. I'm still looking at this as the potential upside move. It still looks decent here. You guys saw me make a bad order there? Well, that's why you cover immediately. I just covered it. I just said, you know what? I don't care if I lose the 15 bucks right now. No volume coming in the market, man. It's slow. I like the way this looks, but man, no volume, nothing coming in. There's some volume, at least something at 96, 97s. Alert, alert. What's moving? Let's find out here. Apple back at 222s and falling. VXX taking off there. It just got me, guys. It just got me. Look at that. 56 available now. There's the $1,000 trade for the day. So you know how I've been talking about it, how it's important to stick on the right risk to reward profile, because eventually I can catch this trade right here. This trade with the size that I take is $1,000 winner. So it completely wipes out those $100 losses, right? And so that's what I need to be getting after, right? Right there was the gainer. It was right here. I just needed to wait and be a little bit more patient, right? Waiting for the turn. And it was right there available to me. Something that I need to be thinking about, right? So a lot of times what I also need to be doing is staying small so I don't feel so pressured. That's one thing that I'll review. I think I might have just gone in too fast, too big. And that's one thing, of course, to work on. Always understand what are the things that are holding you back, the limiting action in your process. That was one of them right there. So it should have been 500 shares. Could have pushed it down there towards a little bit closer towards the 90s and looking for the reversal back. But hey, we'll see what happens there. VXX up there towards 56, 55, 96. Could keep going even higher than that. We'll see what happens. I think it's more based on what happens on Apple. ASPI just did that down attempt there. Now starting to come back here. So I'm willing to take the shot here as I stick around. Might as well trade, right? 1045. We'll see if we get this bad boy moving, but it could break through 8s and really get going. Here comes a 798 opportunity here. I just saw that 807. I want to see if this trade, this 807 size can get taken off here. What I mean by taken off, it just disappears. This is what's important to me. That 807. Now I can't even see it, right? So when I can't see it, doesn't mean that it disappeared. It's just further down the kind of the book. So you need full book access. So if you guys don't have full book access, look into that in the NASDAQ, total book, right? That's what can help you see that. Another thing that can help you see that, we have it on the Super Dom or the Scalper. There you can see a little bit further into the orders and see what's going on. All right, there's another 790s breakdown attempt back in ASPI, and it's holding in there. Not in this one right now, guys. BXX taking off, man. Now 56.20s. SPY coming right back down. So all those traders that probably jumped on those bulls trades now getting wiped. So that's how you stuff it to the bulls and the bears. Right now, you guys saw that action. That's how you do it in the SPY. You get it up to the top and you bring it all the way back. ASPI going for it, guys. I'm taking the shot here. Just added there at 8. Just got in. So now I see the quick motion up here. I'm seeing volume come in on the action up. So now I'm taking the shot here. Let's see if it can hold the 790s pullback and take it out on the upside. Now it's fast to 8. Let's see if it takes it out now. See if I can nail one more of these small names today. I'll show you guys how I see this stock, and I think it's very important. So show you guys right on the platform, right on the chart. We'll chart trade with this one. So you see I'm down 40 right there. You guys see the position, right? I tell you guys exactly how I do things. That's where a lot of traders don't. They don't give you guys the insight of where they are. They just tell you the guys that they're long here, that they're watching this, right? But they don't tell you guys the insight. They don't show you guys the filled orders. They don't show you guys at all. Right here, you get it. That's the important thing. If you're wondering why stick around here versus everywhere else, there's your answer. There's the market pulling back now, and just like that, it's maybe going to stuff a little bit of the bears here. And Apple could bounce back, but I'm not going to play Apple here. I'm just watching ASPI. I just want to just keep talking about the overall market for you guys. It's 10:50, guys. I'm out of here in 5 minutes. Not going to stay around a little bit longer than that, but we'll see if this trade can at least work out here. And I've seen multiple bottoms in this area hold, so that could have been buying that's holding up here at the 790s. Now we just need to see an attempt back towards the trend line, right? And the trend line is easy as day here. You guys can draw it, right? Look at that. Look at that action right there, right? And so looking to see if it starts to hold that last little wick through and starts to break out and go to the upside. Look, where's the potential reward and what could be the potential reward? Up to the top of this is 470. That's not a bad reward. So let's see what happens, right? There's some wicked downside attempt there. Definitely need to hold off this area. Don't want below the 790s, but looking for the take out of the 8. And then that 807 buyer, that 807 order that's sitting there is going to be so important. He's going to show up here, and I'm going to put a circle on him just in case we approach it really quickly. And that's going to be a big spot to watch, right? That 807 area right here. Now I'm getting this down attempt here. Got to be careful that I don't get washed out, right? Got to understand what the risk is here. I'm going to risk that 120, which is the 88s. I start to see the 88s, and right there, I'm getting it on the offer there, really close. 790s. VIX is pushing there. Man, missed that VIXy trade today. That's a tough one. It's a tough one to miss. All right, guys, looking good here. It just needs to come back towards the 8 here. If not, it could take out the lows, and if it takes out the lows, I want to go. So I don't have the order out there. You see me holding it here because if I show my hand here, it's easy how I get stopped out, right? If I had that order there at 790s or 789s, more than likely if I drop it, it gets hit. 797 buys coming in there, 12,000 shares, 2 of them. Let's see if it goes right back through the 8. Now I know if it comes back towards this 789, probably going to want out anyways. So at least I have that opportunity for this to hold the trend line pullback and get back into this spot. This is going to be the important spot. This is where really it's breakout or not. So I'll be watching that action, and we'll look to see if we go through that 807. All right, back towards 97s. Do they take the 8 here? I want to see it go straight towards like 803, 805. Not give you much opportunity there to get in at 8 is what I'd like to see. All right, guys, let's see what happens here. You guys see the pattern. You guys see where I'm coming after. Let's see if it works out here. I could go to a bigger time frame also to see how it looks on a 5-minute basis. And you guys can see there, looks interesting. It doesn't look bad there. Just needs to make the move now. Trying to expand it so you can see it a little bit better here. There you guys have it. Now, if I was like deep green, I could add at 810 as it starts to break out, but I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm only green $60. If I was green, let's say 200 or 300, yeah, I'd take the shot. All right, guys, it's about 1 minute left on this 5-minute candle. Going to be very important that it goes green in the last 1 minute. 30 seconds, a minute, 30 seconds on this 5-minute candle. So important to get back towards the green and get a kind of a green 5-minute candle here on an up attempt. Last minute going to come into play here in a second. We're going to get that candle. It could wick test to the downside and then go for the break. Little bounce there in the market. Little one. Here it goes, guys. Last 30 seconds on this 5-minute candle here. So you see at the bottom right here how I have a timer on the countdown. That's important. You guys can add that too. So if you guys don't have that, look into it. You can add it right there on your charts where the countdown comes into the candles, and that's important to me. The last 2 minutes in every single candle, whether it be a 15 or a 5-minute one, I really pay attention to it. All right, ready to get out if needed here. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, next candle. Let's see what we get. That was a danger candle there on that one. That's a harmy, right? So I need to see the action move above that, not below that low. Here's that 8 attempt to break out. I'm getting the chance here. Now will they take it and take the 807? Will they take it here, team? Smash it up. Wish you would leave the chart like that all the time. Scott, good mention. I could do this. But the problem is that I can't give you guys so much insight on the different orders, like the different market, like sectors and industries. I can give it to you, but I won't be able to show it to you. So let me know the feedback there, because I'm more than willing to show you guys this. I've traded like this all for like a whole week, not last week, but the week prior, as I was in an Airbnb and only had one screen. Did you see how we stopped there at 814? We stopped there at 812s. And why? Because of that 807. That 807 didn't even get filled. That 807 still showing up there. That's danger. That's what we call dark pulling action. Look at the dark pulling action here. So now I just let go of the stop because that was dark pulling action there. Some orders filling there that you don't even see the action. You don't see those sells. You don't see the action. You saw random 83s show up there. Random. So in my eyes there, this is now starting to get more of that dark pulling algo action. I need to set my stop. It could go for the breakout, but it could also just take me out here. If it takes me out, hey, so be it, right? Like always, traders, we need to set ourselves up for success If the trade happens, it happens. Sometimes I don't want to show my hands. In cases where I start to feel the pressure or danger, I show my hand. I put the stop out there. But a lot of times I'm not putting the stop out there. You saw me right there. There was no stop on that first action to the 83s. But as soon as I saw that, I let it go. It would have cut me out if it was actually below the 89 there. So let's see what happens. Both actions, dark pulling got some fills there. It was 813s. It was a random order that got filled there. So let's see what happens if it goes back through 8. It's going to be vital to go back through 8. More than likely, as the way that I see it trading right now, it's probably going to get me out here. Now that I'm showing my hand, it's easier to come and get me for the market makers. So if you guys don't understand that conversation, definitely look into it, right? So glad to hear that mentioned though, Scott. It's good to get some feedback. That's what I'm here for also, guys. Give me the feedback. Got a 440 loss to a 278 gain. There you go, Vic. Take that gain. Maybe get the heck out of here. Hit the like Jan says, everybody. Support us so that we can keep going here live in front of you guys every single day. SPY climbing back. Apple could be the stock to watch off that 222. Could go right back to the 225 today. I'm looking at it potentially to swing trade it here today, because that's the way I see it, right? Apple could just come back and then make a nice move there. I'm still watching this one, though, ASPI, guys, because, hey, I took this trade for a reason, guys. It's about to be 11 here, guys. This is the last seconds here, guys. 807. Now we're starting to rip towards the breakout. At this point in a second, if it breaks that high, I'm going to move the stop break even. 807. Remember we talked about how we would look to see if he was gone there? Now he's gone. Let's see if he got hit here. No, I don't see a big order there on the 807. So that's what I would look for on the tape, giving you guys more insight into the knowledge. So he's gone. So now we can actually break out here. So in a second here, if we can go through that high, I'm going to put a stop loss break even. So you see how I'm moving the stop loss. I have it dragged right now, but not letting it go here. It's a big thing here. You see, they're trying to take the 810s and keep it going, but it could pull back below 8. I have it right now that I could set it for like a $40 loss, if anything. Trying to stay within the green today, but give myself the potential to see this run. If it runs, it goes to 820s, 830s, 840s, and we're looking gravy here. Let's go. Let's go. Big order on the bid. That's a good sign there. I saw it on the bid, 808s. There we go. Now we're starting to get a nice little pop there. That first 830, that's a big gain there. So now I'm setting up for a bigger breakout here. In a second, I'm going to move the stop loss up with the action. So I want to move it within 10 cents. Once it hits 830s, I want to move up to 8. I'm going to move it with 20 cents. So 810 is really where I want to move the stop loss in a second. So I make sure I have green. But if it takes out the 850 here, we can make nice 500 on the top end. So let's see what happens here. Now these nice 822s. Second, I'm going to move it to guarantee 100. 23s is a resistance right now. There's a big order there. 2300 there. Let's see if we get through this. 23s. I'm looking for 23s to get through. 25s will be the next layer to watch as soon as it hits that 23s. But there's nobody there right now, so I'm watching it there. First action still looking good here to take out the 25s. There's the 24s. You see how the 25 just got some offering? You saw that the order was there. There's a resistance there. They're watching that. Could pull back to the 810 here now. So I'm really, really close to just taking the money here, but I want to give it the chance to really break out here. 825s. Let's go. All right. Not getting it there, guys. Not getting it there. In a second, I'm just going to set the 810 here. All right, setting the 810s there. The pullback could be back to 10. So I'm setting the 810 here because I'm looking for the breakout above, but if it doesn't get it, it doesn't get it. So now I just want to move the stop loss, right? So the stop loss is at 100. No matter what, I'll make $100. I'm looking for more, but if it pulls back on me, this is the type of stock that comes all the way back down. I'm just looking for a momentum breakout, no pullback and breakout. There's 823s. We're going to get that opportunity for the breakout. As that comes, I need to make sure that I take at 600. I can't take more than 600 on this trade. So I have the hand here ready to go if I start to see a break towards the 830s. 825s is that spot. Remember where the resistance was. That's what I'm watching right now. So I'm watching that 825. I'm also watching it on the time and sales. I want to see orders go through there. Of course, you see me filtering it out. It's right here, the time and sales. And that is mainly because I don't want to see the small order forms. I want to see a big orders at important prices. Small orders is algorithmic volume, and I could care less about that. Here's 824s, 825s just approached, and it pulled back a little bit off of that. You see how now there's 825s, 826, 827s, essentially a layer there of resistance. We need to blow through that if we're going to get towards this next breakout. All right, looks like it's trying to get there, can't get there, can't get there, can't get there. So at this point, I'm starting to think move stop loss up or take the money and run. All right, there's back towards the 820s. In a second, I'm going to start moving the stop loss up, especially if we can get to the 830s. There's 820s, 820s, 820s. It's trying to go, 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 go. Now I'm going to go to the 1 minute so I can show you guys that action. Up one, down one, up two, down two, up three, down three. Shouldn't break this down three. So at that point, I can move my stop loss to that 814 or 812s. Should hold this pullback right here. If not, it's going to come get me. So shouldn't break this 813 on the downside. I'll make this a little thicker so you guys can see it. Why? This is just rule of three strategy for me. So I look for that all the time for it to hold here. It could wick there and grab me, but I'm looking for that move right back up here to the 830s. And then I'm going to move the stop loss to the 820s. 1104, guys. I'm staying extra just to give you guys this trade and the insight. So please do me the favor. If you guys can take 1 second out of your weekend to share our stream and tell other traders that right here is where you want to be. And maybe you don't have that many trading friends. It doesn't matter. But it shows me that you guys appreciate me sticking around and giving you guys insights. 820 is showing right back up. Held that 813 pullback. Now I'm looking for that 830 takeout. If it goes to that 830 takeout, I go and I move the stop loss up. So at this point, I move stop loss up, not the target profit, because I could move it up to 600, right? If I really want to, I can move that up to like right here to 600, and I'll do that, 860s, right? So that's complete upside breakout. If it just completely breaks out, where do I want to take the money and run? That's it right there. But what I'm doing is I'm trailing the stop loss. You can also trail it right here with a trailing stop. But I don't like the trailing stops. I like to do these manually. And so that's what you're also seeing here. So what am I giving myself? I'm giving myself the chance for a bigger breakout. 200 is what is available to me right now. I could just take the money and run, or I can look to see if I make the $600 trade. Since I'm in the green on this account, I'm going to look for the bigger trade. If I was red on the day, I'd probably take the 200 here and just try to end the day, right? Maybe break even, slightly in the green. Days where I'm just slightly in the green, I'm going to give myself a chance for the bigger move. There's a wick attempt to get me out at 811s. It could hit 810s and I'm out here, guys. All right, guys, we'll see if we get the breakout. I got to get out of here. It's 11:06. I stayed extra for you guys. I tried to stay towards the end of this trade, but I got to get out of here. I got to go back towards the twins, of course, take care of my twins, and going to have a great weekend. I hope you guys out there stay safe. Have a great weekend. Of course, keep working on your trading. And like always, take a little break from the candles tomorrow. As I feel on Saturday, it's more about learning or at least taking a break in your mindset and coming back after it, right? There's nothing wrong with looking at charts on Sundays, but I definitely think on Saturdays, unless you're learning, should be kind of taking a little break, right? Trying to get that mind back and ready, fresh for Monday. That's what it's important to me. I think it should be important for all traders out there. There's 822s. We got through the wick attempt. Now we're looking good for this breakout here at 822s. At this point, when you're on that breakout attempt, one thing that you can do to help it is just cancel this stop loss. It didn't even cancel it there for me. Oh, I know what I have here. I think I have that line that's messing with me. There it is. All right, so I'm canceling that just for a second here because I had a line there. So just trying to get the pressure off. So essentially, it doesn't know where I want to stop right now. Not showing my hand that I want to stop out back down here. I'm giving it the chance to break out. It's trying to break out. It's trying to break out. It's trying to break out. It's not breaking down. Come on, man. Just give me the breakout so that I can get out of here. I wanted to show the team the trade. I hate telling you guys about the trades on Monday. And so I'm just letting you guys get the insight here, right? That's what it's all about here. All right, we'll see if we get the breakout. 822, guys. Smash the like if you guys enjoyed the action. Either way, even though the main account took a hit there, I'm still saying we're taking the money bag today and walking with it. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. There's the money bag. Be back on Monday, guys. Like always, take a look into our limited account. That's what you see me trading right here. We'll see what happens, guys. Even 1,000 shares there on this position. Monster move. We'll see if we get that bigger breakout right here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got to go, guys. Smash the like. Hope you enjoy everything. We'll see you back.